As you saw in the previous video, you have these different prefixes right here that correlate with what number we're putting as subscript for the different elements involved in a compound. So for covalent compounds, remember it's a nonmetal and a nonmetal bonded together. They're sharing electrons. The least electronegative atom usually goes first in the formula. You name the first element using a prefix to indicate more than one atom. Do not use mono on the first element ever. You just name it as is if there's only one. And then you name the shortened version of the second element followed by "ide." Use the prefix to tell you how many. Now, when I say that you should list the most or the least electronegative atom, remember that on your periodic table, our most electronegative corner on our periodic table is this over here, this area over here. And so basically you want to pick whichever one is further away from this corner, and that usually is the one that's listed first. Now, being that this is your first time doing this, we will not be counting off for incorrect order. Just do your best with that. That's just how you would normally see it. Now, looking at our couple examples. So we have this one, CO2 is one that a lot of us are very familiar with. So as you can see, there's only one carbon, but we do not put mono for the first element if there's only one. We just name it as it is. Carbon and then di before the oxygen part, oxide. Di meaning two. Now, let's look at what the order is for those. And as you can see, carbon is over here, oxygen is over here. Carbon was listed first, oxygen was listed second. So you can kind of see how that order thing is going to come about. Okay, look at our next example. We have nitrogen and we have hydrogen. Okay, so nitrogen. Now, this is another one of those exceptions. And then we would look at how many hydrogens I have. And I have 3. So I'm going to come up here. For 3, we use tri. So we're going to say trihydride. And that's going to be how you name that one. Okay. Now we have 1 oxygen and we have 2 fluorines. So this is going to be one of those kind of like this first one that we do not say mono-oxygen. That's just weird. Okay. We're going to say oxygen. And then we're going to go straight to the next thing listed. And we have 2 of something. So again, we're going to go difluoride. Okay. For our next example, I have 2 hydrogens and a sulfur. So this is 1 hydrogen. So we're going to start off with dihydrogen. And then we're going to end with 1 sulfur. So that would be monosulfide. Okay. This last one is very obvious to us, hopefully. That is water. But we're not going to call it water. We're going to call it by its chemical name. And so we're going to take the 2 hydrogens. So we're going to say dihydrogen again. And then for the second part, we're not going to say monoxide because that's kind of strange. So anytime we have this going on, or if we see that we have an O right before an A, so mono with an A ending, okay, you're going to chop off the vowel that is on the ending part of it. So for this case, we're going to chop off that little O right there, and we're going to actually end up writing monoxide, just like that. Okay. So just try your best at that and do the practice for those. Now, when we're writing the formula, there's no crisscrossing of charges. You simply write what the name says and do not reduce to the lowest terms. So for example, if we have dinitrogen monoxide, so I'm going to bring this picture back down for this next slide so that we can refer to it. So we have dinitrogen, so 2. So we have N and then little 2. So just a little hint, what you can do is you can always push control, comma, and it makes it a little subscript for you. And then we're going to go back to normal. Monoxide meaning 1 oxygen. So N2O. For dichlorine heptoxide, so di meaning 2, we're going to say Cl. I'm just going to put the big 2. We'll make it a subscript. All right. And then heptoxide, so we're going to find hepta right there, so 7. So we see that it's hooked up with oxygen, okay, that's what the oxide is. Remember, everything is ending in "ide." So we're going to say O7. Okay, this is one of those examples that we chopped off the A with the O. Okay, so hexa, we did not go hexaoxide. We went heptoxide or sorry. If it was hexaoxide, it would be hexoxide. All right, so just kind of keep that in mind with your two vowels. Carbon disulfide. We have one carbon. There's no mono in front of it, but that's because we don't put it on those. And then disulfide, meaning two sulfurs. And that's what we've got for that. Be sure that you watch that first video so that you can watch that and then do your practice problems and get your exit ticket done for the day.